How's it going? Let's check out the new port for PC's version of Under Night and Birth Exhalate, which just released on Steam. Getting right into it, everything is as it was on the console for the most part. All your options are the same. All your menu options, main menu options are the same. Options menus do differ slightly. System menu, we have autosave and operation guide. Depending on your interface of choice, it'll show you both button prompts or one or the other. Game settings, you have your game difficulty, number of rounds, round length, nothing funny here. Sound length, or sound settings, rather. Voice chat on and off for online. Disable or enable microphone. Nothing too crazy. English or Japanese, whatever you want. Display settings. We have 3 resolution options, which looks kind of crappy at first, but the game's sprite art, so if you blow it up, it's going to look terrible, so you just kind of have to deal with it. Screen mode, we got window and full screen. Switching from window to full screen broke my game, but when I relaunched it, it launched in full screen. It was stretched out and had black bars on the top and bottom. It was awful looking, so I switched it back to window. It didn't break going from full screen to window, but I don't know what's going on with that. It doesn't look good though. Controller settings. You have your Xbox prompts for X input controllers. This is nothing new these days. I am using a PlayStation 2 pad, which is a direct input controller. That does work. It doesn't work exactly like the PS3 control would on the PS3 version of the game. It's got some buttons that are kind of turned around a little bit. It's nothing super foreign or hard to get used to, but all the buttons work. No problem. If you have a direct input, there's a good chance it'll work. Keyboard, this is responsive. I tested it. I don't use keyboard, but it's functional. The only issue is if you want to bind something to space, you'll notice on the bottom it's SP done. It says right there. That means you can't bind anything to space. So if you want to run the hitbox version of a layout with the up button on the bottom or towards the space bar area, you cannot bind it there, and it's kind of a bummer. You have to find something that you can accommodate yourself with, because there's nothing here that'll let you bind it to space, at least as of this moment. It's unfortunate. Going back here, we also noticed there's no vertical sync options, so I've not noticed any kind of screen tearing at all. So if you do notice something like that, please report it. I haven't heard anything about screen tearing at the moment. There's no anti-aliasing either, which is kind of a shame. I've tried to force it. It caused some kind of text artifacts in the menus. It was not good looking. FXAA or Morphological Filtering does work, so keep that in mind. It makes the text look a little funny though. If you don't mind the jaggies though, it's not a big deal. There's also no frame per second counter, which is oddly missing. It was in Melty Blood and it was in Blaze Blue. Why it's not here, I couldn't say. As far as how the game functions, well, character selection is pretty straightforward. You'll notice here, this is not the default for Nanase. This is my favorite color palette. But unlike the PS3 version, it does not bind to weak attack or any other button. For some reason it's bugged, I believe. They had to hit start and then select it there. It's an extra button press. It's not the end of the world. Just kind of dumb. Moving on. The game plays very well. Very responsive. I haven't had any gameplay problems yet. Very fluid, very smooth. I've played a few network matches that were of great quality. I have seen reports of slowdown similar to what people experienced at the beginning of the Melty Blood port. So keep that in mind. That could happen. I didn't experience it though. So your mileage may vary on that. Maybe if they have a similar issue, they can have a similar fix and help folks out in that regard. Other than that, I haven't run into any major game-breaking problems. It plays just fine. It's a little limited in graphical options, but you pretty much have everything else you need to play the game. It's actually very functional. Thank you very much for listening. Peace. Have a good day.